A couple of days ago, I created an episode on 5 weird sexual behaviors of a narcissist, and quite interestingly, a lot of survivors were able to resonate with what I had to say, which is why I decided to create part 2 of the same thing. Today, in this episode, we are going to talk about 5 crazy sexual behaviors of a narcissist that leave you feeling violated. I am Danish, a psychologist and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. If you are new or if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure to subscribe before we get started, because your subscription to the channel helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Weird and crazy behavior number 1. They want you to have sex with others and they want to witness it while it's happening. Now, I'm not talking about preferences here. This is purely non-consensual. This is forced on you. It is their fantasy that they introduce quite mildly in the beginning to check how you respond to it. If you say no, they know that they can't force it on you. They can't be direct. They program you slowly to give in. They manipulate you in myriad ways so that you give in and you do what they want you to do. They compare it with others, they compare it with modern thought process, they compare it with their friends and how they enjoy it and so on. This is how you are manipulated into doing something that violates you inside out. What do they get out of it? Well, pure joy. They love the idea of you getting exploited, violated by strangers. Why? Because you are nothing but an object to them. This is the most extreme example of objectification. That's how they see you. They do not have any attachment to you. They do not want any exclusivity. They just want it to do it for the sake of it, for the fun of it, for the high they can get out of it. Remember that this is something that you are forced to do. It may not be your preference. And that's why a lot of people unfortunately fall for it, yet others save themselves one way or the other. Number 2, they blame you for their sexual malfunction. If it is a cerebral narcissist that you're dealing with, a cerebral narcissist is a type of a narcissist who is like a computer, who is disconnected from the body and has zero interest in being sexually intimate with you. So they can't perform naturally. They're not in here. Their narcissism operates from here. But you are the one to be blamed. They are rock-like. There is no human being. Kissing them feels like you are kissing a dead fish. However, who becomes the scapegoat? Who gets blamed? You. They do not look within. They say, oh, it's because of you. You're not attractive enough. You're not thin enough. You're not fat enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. And you keep improving yourself, thinking that you have to be better for you to be attractive to them. They may even go on to saying that I have never had these problems with other men or women. It has been perfectly normal. You are the only one I'm having these problems with, so you figure it out. You go out and try to understand, and then you try all sorts of things. You even do things that you do not prefer to do, which may include and may not be limited to watching pornography or doing things in a way that violates your autonomy, that violates who you are as a person. However, it still does not work, and you end up taking the blame for a mistake you never made, for a crime that you never committed. Number 3, they withhold sex a lot, especially if they know that is what you depend on heavily. That is what sustains your trauma bond. That's the only time when you feel connected to them. It's like a gift. It's like the end goal. They make you perform. They make you work for it. They make you chase it. Then shame and blame you. See, you are an addict. What's wrong with you? And they use all sorts of words to tell you that you are a bad person. You're a disgusting person whose life is only about this one thing, completely forgetting that they are depriving you of love and affection, like depriving you of oxygen, which is why you want that. You want to feel something with them, and having physical intimacy with them is the only way to do so. If you are lucky enough, you will get a chance to be physically intimate with them on your anniversary or on their birthday. And in a way that makes you feel insignificant, demanding, and clingy because they make all sorts of faces. Their body says it all. Their body makes it seem like, oh, I'm doing a favor to you. You are so disgusting. You're so repelling to me. But because you leave me with no other options, I have to do it for your sake. That makes you feel so unwanted. This is not how you should feel with your own partner, the person that you're married to, the person who was an entirely different version in the beginning, the person that made you feel special. Now you have to chase these breadcrumbs, and sexual withholding is also done to punish you, to teach you a lesson. All of this in combination leads to the creation of an intense sexual trauma bond, about which I talk in depth and detail in my program called Break the Trauma Bond with a Narcissist in 5 Practical Steps. I launched it only 2 days ago, and in this program, I talk about how you get trauma bonded to a narcissist at a nervous system level and how your hormones impact the intensity of how attached you feel to them. Then I also teach you how to break free in 5 practical steps so that you can move on and heal properly. If you want to get instant access, click the I button above or the link in the description right now and enroll yourself. Number 4, they demand too much sex, which is the opposite of withholding, especially if they know you are not in a mood to do so. You're not in a state to offer them that. They do that intentionally to violate you because you can't say no to them, and they like it when it's really hard to get. That's what a narcissist told me once. I accidentally happened to have a session with a narcissist, and I asked him, what makes it so interesting for you to chase a person? What is in it for you? He said, the high. The more difficult it is, the more I like to chase that person. That is what it is all about. The more you give them a pushback, the more they will force it on you. Which brings in the concept of the R word. That is what happens in a marriage. And unfortunately, so many women and men are left invalidated because people say, oh, you are married to this person. How can you be? And then you can think of the R word. How can that happen? No, it is totally possible. It's non-consensual and it's forced on you. If you do not do it, if you do not comply, then they give you all sorts of silent treatments. They stonewall you and sometimes they become aggressive. You are left with no option but to give in. And multiple times a day, some narcissists are sexual addicts. Their tank never fills. They never feel satisfied, which is why they chase it all the time, leaving you feeling like a toy. Behavior number 5, and this is the weirdest one. They talk about your sexual connection with others, with your friends, sometimes, as disgusting as this may sound, with your children as well. That leaves you feeling torn apart. You do not know how to handle those conversations, but they bring it up unnecessarily, uncalled for. They will talk about the connection to either shame you or to boast about how well they performed or how intense it is. It's not done in a joking way, it's done on purpose. And they openly do so without caring how you would feel, without caring if they're violating your privacy, if they're breaching it, if they're going against you. They will talk about to their friends, your family, their family, basically everybody else if they can, if that is something they vicariously live through. The irony is they won't let you talk about the actual issues that you're having with them to other people because they want you to keep issues within the marriage, for other people will brainwash you against them. They know very cleverly that if you were to tell these things to others, they will tell you what's going on, they will show you the right way, and then the narcissist will lose full control over you. This is a very crazy behavior that I have seen so many people going through, and to a certain degree I have experienced this as well with my parents. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. We'll talk about it soon. But that's a real thing. Another sexual behavior that I can add to what I just said, they just need a hole. And that is what confuses a lot of people about their orientation. Are they gay? Are they bi? Are they this? Are they that? Nobody knows. I tell you, narcissists don't have any true orientation because they do not have a real self. And that makes them quite fluid. At the same time, they can go with anybody. If they have a hole, they'll use it. As disgusting and as degrading as that sounds, they'll just take it if there is any. That's who they are, and that's how they behave and function. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to check out my program, Break the Trauma Bond with a Narcissist. Link is in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.